welcome to the show, all 11 of you. It is me, Jonathan, and my good buddy, Cody Akins. How you doing, good buddy?
Dude, I am fantastic.
That is awesome. So obviously we're recording this today after a Chiefs win, winning 23-20 against the Indianapolis Colts. It was, I mean, I don't know about you, Cody. I should have asked you this before we did the show. I'm going to actually read some of our texts that we exchanged during the game.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I'll try to keep it. I mean, we don't really have the FCC restrictions on here, but there's some language I'm not proud of that was exchanged in those texts. But what I want to do is I'm just gonna pull random texts out, and I want you to guess what was happening in the game at that moment.
Well, if you read the text, it says, "Well, we're fucked." That's the Kareem Hunt fumble.
That was the text all game. Yeah, okay. We'll get into that in a minute. That'll be really fun. And a fun way to examine how the game went. But the Chiefs,
that'll be a hoot.
23-20. They again, easy game, easy breezy, no problems whatsoever, never a doubt, as I guess Nick Wright would say. Here's my question to you, Cody. What did we learn from the game?
The Chiefs are never down and out. Just because you've got the best rusher in the league don't mean shit against our defense.
It sure does not.
And Daniel Jones is like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or whichever the way it goes, because some days they get Indiana Jones and other days they get Danny Dimes. And yesterday I think they got both.
Yeah, I learned some days they get Indiana Jones, the archaeologist, and some days they get Indiana Jones, the quarterback, who doesn't get talked about enough. It was terrible. I mean, he was a terrible quarterback. Could punch out Nazis all day, but when it came to hitting the seam on man coverage, just terrible. What I learned is that this team is never as down on itself as the fans are on the team, and we'll show explicit examples of that a little bit later on. Also learned that Mahomes is a better passer if the Chiefs run the ball more, like 350 yards. And granted, that was including a drive in overtime for sure. The 350 yards, not getting into the end zone nearly as much, but the success rate was insane. It's 33 first downs. And that's what you have to do to beat the kind of coverage that you're going up against with the Colts. Now, I want to point something out to people that might not know this. The Colts might be the best defense as far as being able to hurt us that we're going to face all season, because they have Charvarius Ward and Sauce Gardner at cornerback. Those guys are amazing at playing man coverage, and it works against us. Our guys can't get open. Mahomes gets impatient, either wants to run the ball or just throw it away. Like he goes through his if Tony Romo pointed out, it's accurate, goes through his progressions way too fast. And when he doesn't see somebody open, he starts to get jittery and wants to run. What he should do is, against a team that doesn't have a great pass rush, especially when they're missing DeForest Buckner like the Colts were, is go, oh, nobody's open yet. Let me go through my progressions again. Let me see if somebody gets open. Now, the reason he moves around in the pocket is something Tony Romo got wrong that was driving me nuts yesterday. The reason he moves around in the pocket is because when nobody's open, you run around. When you scramble, it opens guys, because then the guys that are covering Kelsey and Rice and Worthy come in to try to see what the quarterback's doing, and then they get open and then you throw it. That's what he was trying to do. He just wasn't as successful with it yesterday, but he was still great. And the way you beat man coverage is if you run the ball more, they're not sure if they need to stick to their guy or go tackle the guy with the ball. Right? If you're playing zone, you back up, you can see whether the ball's running or not. You play man, you have to run with the guy you're with. So it's that simple. Run the goddamn ball more.
Or as Tony Romo would say, play outside the numbers.
Do you think he even knew what he was talking about there?
I don't know,
over
man.
and
But
over.
I
Just
felt like
throw outside the numbers. Why isn't he throwing outside the numbers? I don't know, Tony, because he doesn't have A.J. Brown. That's why he's not throwing outside the numbers. He's not throwing jump balls because he's got Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice. Now, maybe if they play Tyquan Thornton more or Juju more, that would be a possibility. But throwing outside the numbers is something you do when you have big body receivers that can get jump balls. Oh, my God. I was like, what are you even talking about?
I was just annoyed by how many times he said outside the numbers.
It just kept coming up. Yeah. Anyway, I also learned, and I knew this already, so this is more tongue in cheek. But I also learned that opposing fans will still blame the refs no matter what. Had the pleasure of listening today before work to some Indianapolis sports talk stations and heard a couple callers, and it was nothing but blaming the refs, saying the game is rigged. And to their credit, the hosts that I were listening to were like, yeah, but, the Chiefs had a call come back on them. Like, they had a touchdown taken away. It doesn't matter. All those roughing the passer calls. Okay, like, what do you have a problem with the roughing the passer call? Like, what was the problem with that? I mean, it's BS. Mahomes gets it all the time. And it was just nonstop blaming the refs. And I'm going to go back to a take I had last year about that very subject when it comes to opposing fans and the refs. Good. Blame the refs. Please blame the refs and do not hold your team accountable. You know what? 4 straight 3-and-outs and you're the best offense in the league. Blame the refs. That's on the refs somehow. You have an MVP candidate at running back who, what did he get? 60 yards?
58. He had 16 carries for 58 yards.
58 yards. Has the ball, by the way, because people kept going, well, they need to give the ball to Taylor more. Why didn't they let Taylor run the ball more? They did in overtime. They handed him the ball at 3rd and 1, and you know what happened? His ass got dragged behind the line of scrimmage by Drew Tranquil. Yeah, that's what happened.
The Titans and the Ravens, how that worked out for Derrick Henry.
Yeah, right. That don't hold your MVP caliber running back accountable. That was the refs. You give up 350 yards passing. That's on the refs. The team gives up 100 yards rushing to a octogenarian running back in Kareem Hunt. That's on the refs.
Now, I just want to state, though, remember that text message I sent at the very start of that game? I said Kareem Hunt's going for 100. I called that.
You're right. You're killing the Chiefs in man all game. Killing them where they can't get anything done. They're getting the ball down the field. But, like, one of the more misleading stats from that game, by the way, is the fact that the Chiefs had 33 first downs. That's awesome, and it's a really great success rate. But the reason you have 33 first downs and you're still behind is because you're getting those 10 yards at a time instead of 20 or 30 or 40 yards. Guys weren't getting open. Those were all on checkdowns and running, right? So you're killing us in man the whole game. You know what? Let's take a drive off. On 3rd down, let's go back to playing zone so our guys can catch their breath. On 3rd down, let's do that. No, it's fine. What we'll do is we'll rush 3 and then drop 8, and it'll be fine. Where's Rashee Rice going? Yeah. Yeah. Don't blame it, but that's on the refs. That's on the refs. Not your coaching staff, not your quarterback, not your running back, not your defense. Nope, that is all the refs that did that to you. That's what happened there.
And it was the refs that caused Noah Gray to catch that ball with his fellers.
That might summarize the Chiefs 2025 season. Best play of the game is from a guy who was unconscious. Not even awake. And he still makes a great play. And here's another thing. The KC Star had an article today about how opposing fans are really upset about that Noah Gray catch. And it's like, are they right? No, of course they're not right. They're idiots. Yeah, no, they're not right. You do not need to catch a ball with your hands. You can catch a ball between your legs. So long as you have control of it, you have possession. And when the ball came to rest between the crook of his arm and the top of his hip, and it was not resting on the ground, and he didn't use the ground to support the ball or catch it, that's a catch. I don't know what to tell you, morons, but that's a catch. It is amazing to me. And this is another thing I want to get to, because it's not just Colts fans. There were some Chiefs fans that need to be brought up on charges for this as well. It's amazing to me, though, with that play specifically, with the gray catch, how stupid some people are. And when you read it, you have to go, oh, okay, I don't need to care what anybody says as far as the refs are concerned, but just as far as football is concerned, when opposing fans don't know that if the ball doesn't touch the ground and comes to us to rest on a player, that it's a catch if they're inbounds, then you don't need to pay attention to any goddamn thing they say. If they're saying that's not a catch, they don't know football. Like, and somebody said, well, it didn't, there it goes. It didn't survive the ground. It didn't survive the, yes, it did. It was resting in his arm. Like, what are you talking about? It didn't survive the ground.
It never touched the ground.
The only time something like that would matter is if he caught it and then landed out of bounds and the ball wasn't like within his control when he hit the ground. But even that, it was, though. So I don't know. People are just dumb, man. And neither Tony Romo, Jim Nance, or I can't remember who the ref consultant is on CBS. None of them were like, "Oh, that's not a catch." They were like, Tony was like immediately, "Yep, that's a catch. That's a catch." Now, the other thing I want to say is, and this is a nit I need to pick with some Chiefs fans, and some of them very smart people that I follow and really respect, because I don't know nearly as much about football as I wish I did, so I follow people who know more than me. When the Chiefs had that touchdown on the Kelsey touchdown, when they had that called back because of the phantom face mask, right? The ref consultant gets on and says that's a reviewable play. And Tony Romo intimates basically that, oh, then the Chiefs should have challenged. I can't remember specifically what he said, but he's basically like, oh, well, the Chiefs should challenge that. I saw people who played college ball. I saw former NFL players. I saw people who make a living not doing what we do, where we just have this cool podcast that we do once a week and talk about the Chiefs, but literally make a living talking about football in just head on fire. What the fuck is wrong with Andy? Why isn't he challenging that? And I felt I was taking crazy pills, because I was like, I'm 99% sure you can't. Like, and it's just because I watch a lot of football and I've never once seen a face masking penalty challenge. Have you?
No.
No. I've never seen a coach throw a challenge flag on a penalty like that. And yeah, it's because Tony Romo, everybody took his word as gospel that you can review that you can challenge it. And he was wrong. And then he comes back and says he's wrong. But I was still seeing people after the game, Chiefs fans after the game, saying, I don't want to see anybody complaining about that face masking call when Andy could have had it overturned.
So what they were saying was it was reviewable, but it had to be initiated by New York.
Yes.
And that's where my question comes into play, because technically before the penalty, this was a scoring play. All scoring plays are automatically reviewed. So why is it that he made it into the end zone? It's a touchdown called back by a penalty. Why didn't New York or replay assist catch this and we get to keep the touchdown?
All right. Two reasons why. One, because the reviewable aspect of that is not, did he score? When they're reviewing a scoring play, they're trying to review whether the person scored or not. And he did. They're not reviewing whether there was a penalty on it. Why is my fucking phone keeps doing this? I don't know. You can still hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. Oh no, that's great. Hold on a second. Ugh, fucking thing. What?
Stand by.
Yeah. Here, we'll just switch. It's funny. This only happens when I do this show like this. I do my midday show and everything's fine. Okay. So it's because the reviewable aspect of it is the scoring itself, not any penalties or anything like that. The penalty cancels out the scoring aspect. Does that make sense? I'm going to make a lot of people angry by saying this, and including my good friend Cody Akins. That wasn't a face mask, but it was holding. It was. Go back and watch the play. Jawan Taylor does not grab him by the face mask. It's like his hands are up by his head, but he grabs him by the jersey and pulls him the other way. Otherwise, the guy would have had a play on Kelsey. I don't think that would have stopped him from scoring. But look, I was upset about it too, and then I went back and watched that play again without the fervor of emotion that I was experiencing at the time. It should have been called holding. Now, there's a difference, because holding is a 10-yard penalty and the face mask is 15. 10 yards, you still have a much better chance of scoring than 15. But that is what it is. He was holding him, and I'm sorry, I can't be a hypocrite on this. If I'm going to say, other opposing fan bases just blaming the refs for everything nauseate me, I can't sit here and let Jawan Taylor off the hook on what was actually a penalty. And I think that's probably why if they reviewed it, they're like, well, it wasn't face mask, but it was holding, so who cares? Also, it's a noon game, and I think at noon games, New York isn't that interested.
Awake yet?
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care about reviewing anything on a noon game, because it doesn't make them look bad if they miss it. All right. So let's go over some key plays. You know what? Here, we'll do it through the text. Scrolling up. We text a lot.
We do.
But let's see.
I think I talk to you more during the games than I do my own wife.
My family has stopped watching games with me. Other than Finn will come in and watch the end of the game. Henry will usually kind of walk in, look at what's going on, and go, and then leave. Katie has watched a couple games with me, but I don't think she knows what's happening in the game. And so it's got to be confusing for her, because all of a sudden she sees her husband explode with rage when something she doesn't understand. You ever see your parent when you're a kid, your parents get really pissed off about something. You're like, what? Why is this guy so mad? What happened? I think it's like that. It's but the one guy had the ball and now he doesn't. Why is that? What's the problem? Even if she did understand what's going on, she'd be like, who cares? What difference does it make in the long run?
Me, the entire structure of my mentality is based on how these 53 men who know nothing about me perform during the week.
Right. It's so sad. All right. Let's see. Let me see. I'm trying to. What is the point of punting if they get 20 plus on the return every fucking time? That was from me. What play was that, Cody?
Well, obviously one of the Chiefs' punts.
That was the punt we did from the Colts 45. We punted the ball at the 45. They got it at the 5. And then ran it back to the 20, which, right. What is the point if we're just going to, why not just go for the yards? All right, here's another one. That's probably the game and the season. That was you.
Fumble.
That was you. Yeah.
I was like, yep. I was like, that's it. We're done. That was the Kareem Hunt fumble 100%.
For those of you listening, here is the hell that I was going through, because Cody texted me that, and I texted
Leaf blower.
Hunt fumbled. Fucking leaf blower screwed up my reception the whole drive. LOL. So here's what was going on during the drive where the Colts switched to playing man, and Worthy had a big play, and then Rice had a huge play, and then Hunt fumbled the ball. They ran the ball 2 times in a row, and just as, by the way, going back and watching the play, Romo is saying, I don't like handing the ball over to the running back when you have Patrick Mahomes, but okay, I guess they're going to do it. And like at that exact second, Hunt fumbles. What was going on in my life was some asshole was outside of my window wearing a Chiefs t-shirt and blowing his leaf blower. And somehow, because I watched the games with an antenna, that messed with my reception, and I couldn't see what was going on.
Time to go back to pirating the games like you did back.
Yeah, but then you know what my problem with that is? I'd be a minute behind. So, like, my option was, do I have to tell everybody in my life, hey, I'm going to be a minute behind because I have to pirate the game because my neighbor is using a leaf blower? The funny thing about it is that I have a powered antenna, plugs into the wall. I unplugged it, and all of a sudden the reception cleared up. I don't even understand that. I don't understand what that was, but you know, fine, whatever.
I thought it was your neighbor stealing your electricity, and then you said it was gas powered. But I mean, does that really top though when you set your house on fire during that one Chiefs game?
No, that was the Chiefs Broncos 2022. I set my house on fire because I threw a water bottle at the ground really hard, and not my proudest moment, but it's not like I meant to set the house on fire. That house was just begging to be on fire. It was just a stack of kindling. Damn it. I should have, you know what? I'm going to do this again next week, but I need to like be more intentional about it and actually have these like set aside. So I had some really good ones when I was looking through our earlier. Okay, here. This is you. Nance needs to shut the fuck up.
I don't know, man. I said that more than once.
That was when they were talking about how he said
he couldn't find the end zone.
It was the Chiefs kicking yet another field goal.
It's like he couldn't find the end zone. The fucking refs just took it away.
Right? Yeah. And then let's see, another one of mine.
Got to scroll through all the F-bombs.
It's a lot,
shit.
man. All right. DJ got scared by CJ.
Daniel Jones. No.
Yep.
Yeah, Daniel Jones. Chris Jones came through and caused him to throw away a pass like deep into the end zone, didn't he?
Yeah, and the text before that is you saying, what the fuck was that? And I said, DJ got scared by CJ. And that's what happened. And that's what was incredible about that. And they said this on the broadcast. That was the first time the Colts have been in a goal to go situation in a game all season, and they didn't get a touchdown.
Yeah.
The Chiefs did that. All right. So that was fun. I'm going to do that next week.
Oh yeah, no, that was a hoot.
And then I guess we could do it Friday, depending. And then so let's go over some key plays.
Before we play that Thursday night game, remember the 3 top scoring offenses in the NFL: the Indianapolis Colts,
yep,
the Dallas Cowboys, and whoever is playing the Dallas Cowboys.
We'll get into a preview a little bit later. I am this much concerned now. Before the Eagles game, this is as much concerned as I was. I am this much concerned, just a little bit concerned about that game with the Cowboys. We'll talk about that in a minute, though. So here's some key plays from the game. We talked about the Noah Gray catch. Rice, I saw some other people posting this today, and I have to agree with them. Rice made it a great catch on 4th and 3 to keep the game going. right? It was almost a one-handed catch. He like jumps up, swoops it out of the air, and comes down with it. And I thought this. I was like, that seems weird. Mahomes wouldn't throw that. There was no reason for him to throw high there. And by that point, Mahomes was fucking nails. Like he wasn't missing any passes in the game unless it was intentional at that point, right? He wasn't throwing to Rice. He was throwing to Kelsey. Kelsey was behind Rice. And if you go back and watch the replay and don't look at Rice, look at Kelsey, who's like 5 yards behind him. Kelsey has run and then stopped. And then the ball's coming to him, and Rice just jumps up and grabs it. So thank God he caught it. Otherwise, that would have been the game and the season. I like that for two reasons, though. One, I like the confidence. I like the confidence of Rice, who's like, that ball's for me. Fuck yeah, I'm going to catch this. The other thing I like about it is, you know what Kelsey does when the ball is obviously supposed to be for him, but Rice gets it instead? You know what Kelsey does? Kelsey grabs the nearest guy and throws him into the turf. He blocks for Rice. He doesn't go, what the fuck? Like he could, had every right to. That ball was intended for him. Instead, he grabs the nearest guy and starts blocking and lets Rice run for like 10 more yards. So, God, Travis Kelce is my favorite Chiefs player, maybe even more so than Mahomes. And I when I say he's not retiring this year, a lot of that is hope and copium, because I don't want him to. When Hunt fumbled the ball, first guy to come over to him on the field, first guy to come over to him on the sidelines, Travis Kelce, telling him, don't worry about it. We got this. He was the only person, because you said that's the season. Season's over. I didn't disagree with you. I didn't say, yep, how dare you? They'll certainly turn this around. They're only down 11 points in the fourth quarter. They'll be fine. Travis Kelce did not give up on his guy, and he made sure to let him know that, nope, we got this. Don't worry about it. It reminds me of when Mecole Hardman fumbled against the Bills in the AFC Championship game and literally just went to the sidelines and started crying underneath the blanket. I'm not trying to demean him, but he was very, upset. So he's just under this blanket, and Mahomes just rips the blanket off and goes, hey, we need you. Get your shit together, because we need you still. You're going to make a great play in this game. And then he goes out. This was in the 2020 AFC Championship game. He goes out and has an end around and almost scores a touchdown on it. I love this team. Other great plays. Worthy, third down to get a field goal to tie the game. Or to get within field goal range was awesome. That was in overtime. Actually, no, that wasn't the game time. That was in overtime. And it was 3rd and 7, which I hate. There's certain numbers. It's almost numerology that comes up with this team sometimes. And 3rd and 7 just always feels like you're not getting that. You're not getting it when it's 3rd and 7. Also, if the defense is 3rd and 7, the other team is going to convert on that one. Not as much lately, but at least all the games before this. That catch, the Worthy had to he turned, he caught it. Worthy had another great catch where he caught the ball with his fingertips.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And the Hunt touchdown, I think, was probably the coolest, because that was after he fumbled and just
no, he just leaps over it.
It was like Dirty Dancing when he picks her up into the air. It was great. He just jumped over the pile. It was awesome. I loved that. And there you go. So I am I'll throw this out to you, Cody, because I know you process games like this same way as I do. Who needs to shut the fuck up after that game?
I mean, Tony Romo could have shut the fuck up during the game.
Okay. That would actually, they should give you that option. They have the Spanish broadcast, and Prime does the Prime Vision cast.
Yeah.
You have the Manning cast. You can watch that, which I hate, by the way. I love the Manning brothers, but I never, ever watch that because I want to actually watch the game. Maybe it's entertaining for some people. The most annoying thing in the world to me is when I'm trying to watch a football game and people are talking to me, and that's all they do. So they should offer that. Like, can't you just watch the game without the announcers?
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be awesome. I have this. I wrote this down, and maybe Tony Romo follows this. The Uncle Ricos of the world. I love after a game, after a Chiefs game, especially after a win, seeing what the analysts have to say. Like I want to know what I just watched and what just happened and like why it looked the way it did and why they played the way they played. But man, there's a certain brand of analysts that I cannot stand anymore. And it's not the former players necessarily, not the former NFL players, because most of them have a deep appreciation for what the guys on the field are doing. Like, for instance, everybody yesterday, including me, was saying, I don't know, this team looks exhausted. It looks like they're not trying hard enough. And Mitchell Schwartz, who used to play right tackle for the Chiefs, for Mahomes, was like going off on everybody. Like, no, they aren't. Bullshit. They are trying their hardest. Like, you're going to tell me that this team isn't trying? They just aren't getting it in the end zone. Maybe the scheme's off. There's some head games going on, but they are, so I like him a lot, and I like a lot of former NFL players. The analysts I cannot stand anymore. And I like the nerds. I like the Ben Solaks or Nick Wrights, who are just nerds, and they've never played and they have no idea what it's like to actually play. So they have deep appreciation for what those guys are doing. The people I cannot stand are people who played high school football or college football, who are now analysts and think that they are the ones that should be on the field. That they think, like, if I had just gotten a couple of breaks, that would be me out there. And just have so much disdain for any minor mistake that gets made by Mahomes or Kelsey or Hunt or anybody. Just losing their minds over a fumble or an interception or anything. Like, I can't tell you how many goddamn people I saw today who were, again, fit that Uncle Rico category, who were going off about Mahomes missing Kelsey on a touchdown. There's a play. I don't remember where it was in the game, but Kelsey is running towards the end zone. He's got two guys behind him. He beat man. He's going towards the end zone. Mahomes could have lofted the ball up to him and hoped that he caught it. Or what he ended up doing was taking the easy check down to Hollywood Brown, who ended up getting a first down on it. Now, I don't know why I'm picking on this play, but it wasn't an easy layup touchdown. He would have been throwing into double coverage with the game on the line. Not a smart move. Also, to his 36-year-old tight end, who he would either have to overthrow and hope he catches the ball, or underthrow so he can, track it. The problem with that is you slow down with two guys on your back, they're going to run into you, and you're not catching that ball. He did the smart thing and threw it to Hollywood Brown. So that's my least favorite. I hear them so much, and some of them I respect and like, but they're the ones I hear the most virulent commentary from, and the most angry, like, hey, what the fuck are they even doing out there? Like almost like it's a personal attack that these guys are playing football and you're not. Like, how dare they not make the most of this situation that I was never granted? Those guys drive me nuts. All right, we did this last week. I'm going to do it again. A little thing called Big Butts. All right. So
now that I know how the rules work,
yeah, I should have explained this better last week. So you get it now, right? Like it's a big butt based on how much you disagree with it.
Yeah.
Like you wait, no. Sorry. It's the opposite. It's the more you disagree with it, the smaller the butt is. Yes. I get why this is confusing now that I say this.
And it's not actually about butts.
It's not actually about butts. It's this. Okay, so the Chiefs, here's number one. The Chiefs are still a Super Bowl contender and always will be with Mahomes. But 2022 was his last MVP season. He's never going to have another one. Here are the facts. The Chiefs are in the mix every single year because of Mahomes. Since he became the starter in 2018, they have made every AFC championship game except for one. They've won three Super Bowls, been to 5. and never won fewer than double-digit games in a full season. But the MVP Mahomes and the contender Mahomes are not the same person. 2018 and 2022 were the peak alien seasons with gaudy passing numbers, explosive plays, and the narrative juice that wins awards. But since then, defenses have changed how they play him. There's more too high, more man, forcing long drives, and the Chiefs have had to lean on defense, ball control, and grinding wins instead of track meets. And his MVP resume now has real competition every year from younger guys putting up video game stats in friendlier systems. Cody, how big is that butt?
I mean, I don't think it's his last MVP season. He put up 350 yards yesterday. Granted, the game did go into overtime. Is he having trouble putting it into the end zone? A little bit, yes. But I think he's the number 2 quarterback right now in terms of passing yards?
Yeah, in passing yards. Yep.
I mean, last night I heard Matthew Stafford was in the running for
Matthew Stafford
MVP.
is running away with MVP.
Yeah, he after that beatdown he put on the Buccaneers last night.
So right now, Mahomes is second in passing yards, 8th in touchdowns. I don't even understand this number. He has got 7 interceptions, so he's tied for 68th in interceptions. I guess that means that's good, right? I guess that's good. And then he's 3rd in QBR, not passer rating, which is a bullshit stat anyway, but he's 3rd in QBR. So those are still really good numbers. So yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on this, but I don't think it's a big butt at all. I think that it's really small. And here's the butt to the butt. I'll add. You want to go butt to butt? Let's go butt. Let's go ass to ass, just like Requiem for a Dream. I think he could still get back into the MVP conversation. Here's what he would need to do. He's got 18 passing TDs right now. If we've got 6 games left, not including playoffs, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
6 games left. So if he in the next 6 games averages 3 touchdowns a game, which is possible, and honestly, I mean he's done it before, and he ends the season then with 36 touchdowns, and let's add in because he also has 7 personal or total. He has. I don't have his numbers in front of me, but he has also like 5 or so total touchdowns on top of that. So he has ones that he's running himself. So say he ends with 42 plus total touchdowns, and he catches Stafford, because if he's getting 3 touchdowns a game, I'm going to assume he's catching Stafford when it comes to passing yards. These next few games, if he gets it together and finishes the season, he could still be MVP easily.
And you want to know another crazy statistic that I just read? That if the Broncos go 2-2 for something, I think they said like a loss against the Chargers or something like that, and Kansas City wins out, statistically speaking, it is possible for Kansas City to still win the West.
So it would be the Broncos, if the Broncos only win 2 more games. So they lose all the other games, but they only win 2 more games. And assuming the Chargers only win 4 more games and the Chiefs win out, then they would be first and they would win the AFC West. I crunched the numbers the other night on how they could actually become the 1 seed. I'm not going to get into all the machinations of it, but basically if every AFC team loses.
Shut the bed today.
If every AFC team that's in contention loses over the next couple weeks, the Chiefs could be the 1 seed by week 16. It's not going to happen. Here's the way I would look at the playoffs, and this is I think the healthier way to look at it. Instead of focusing on what every other team is doing in tiebreakers and all that bullshit, here's what you need to focus on. Only 2 teams in league history, and since the expanded playoff field, only 2 teams have won 10 games and not made the playoffs. That was the 2024 Seahawks last year and the 2020 Dolphins. So you win 10 games, you're in. more than likely. No team has won 11 games and not made the playoffs. So it basically, we can't lose more than one more game down the stretch. If we lose 2, it's iffy. We still probably would get in, but we can't lose 3. I don't think we're losing 3. I honestly, what do you think is more likely right now? Us losing 2 more games or us running the table? Got the Cowboys, you got the Texans, you got the Chargers, the Titans, Broncos, and the Raiders. Those are your next 6 games. Not losing to the Titans. We're not losing to the Raiders. We're not losing to the Chargers again. So there you go. That's 3 wins. The Chargers are in free fall. Like they just got blown out by the Jaguars. We could lose to the Texans. They have a great defense.
I was about to say that Texans defense imposed their will on Josh Allen, which was the greatest thing I ever watched.
All right. So we could lose to the Texans. We could lose to the Broncos. I don't think we're losing to the Chargers.
I think realistically we lose 2.
I think if we beat the Cowboys, I think that actually says a lot more than it does about beating, say, the Chargers. Because here's what I was saving for the end. The Cowboys are, let's see, did I save this stat somewhere? No, I don't. The Cowboys, since bring on Quinnen Williams, whatever his name is, the guy from the Jets, they are the number 1 like rush defense in the league, and they've gone up in every statistical measure since then. Now, the benefit of that is they've only played 2 games since adding him, and it was against the Raiders and the Eagles, both of whom have terrible offenses. So I don't know that really matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I worry a little bit about that Cowboys defense because I don't think it's as bad. Obviously, it's not as bad as it was earlier in the season, but I don't think adding one guy makes that big of a difference. So you have a better pass rush, fine. That's fine. But the reason I have so much faith in the Chiefs beating the Cowboys is the way you can slow down Mahomes and mess him up is playing man. That's what we saw against Indianapolis. It's what we saw against the Broncos, playing man. They have terrible corners. They can't keep up with our guys. They can't keep up with Rice and Worthy. Now Rice has a pulled hammy. Tweaked it. Was on the injury report today, but I still don't think their corners are good enough to hang with us. So, all right, that was the first but. We agreed on that. Next one is this, and it's about Harrison Butker. Butker is back. He went 5 for 5 the past game, and that's awesome. Won us the game. Tied the game, then won it. But the Chiefs were better when he was struggling because it forced them to go for it in the red zone instead of settling for field goals. When your kicker's automatic, it changes the coach's brain chemistry. On 4th and short in the red zone, instead of thinking we have Mahomes, let us go bury them, it becomes let's just take the points. 3 points are guaranteed, take the money. When Butker was wobblier, they had no choice but to trust Mahomes on 4th downs and red zone plays. That aggression led to touchdowns, not just good drives. How big is that butt?
Oh, dude, that's I 100% agree with the sentiment that the better Butker has been getting, the lower our points have been. When Butker sucked earlier in the season, so up until last night, all of our wins this season came by double digits. So we always won by at least 2 scores.
Yep.
We have lost every single 1-score game this season.
Right.
And
up until last night.
Up until last night.
Yeah.
Or yesterday.
Yesterday, yes.
So, yes, as Butker has found himself again, I do feel like we've backed off on our offense a little bit.
And I'm not blaming Andy Reid for that. I'm sorry, I'm not blaming Butker for that. I'm blaming Andy Reid. And to an extent, I think I'm blaming Patrick Mahomes. because I
And to
think,
an extent, Matt Nagy.
and to an extent, Matt Nagy, because it doesn't just affect what you do on fourth down, it also affects what you do on third down. On third down, if you know you got Butker, who's automatic lately, you don't mind taking a sack. On third down, you don't mind throwing the ball away. On third down, you don't try as hard. You don't need to make sure you get that touchdown because you got the guy that can at least get you points. And I think that is a problem. And that has been why. How many games has it been since they've had a passing touchdown? I mean, or no, he didn't have one yesterday, but how many has it been since he's had multiple passing touchdowns? I think that's what's hurting us in the red zone. I really do. And I'm not smart enough to know exactly what they can do to improve in the red zone. I've read up on it, and basically people are just saying, like, you just need to run out there and make guys run into each other, run a bunch of mesh and crossers and stuff like that. I think something else that's kind of messing with Mahomes is how many goddamn interceptions has that guy thrown to linemen this year? I mean, it's crazy, right?
Dude, that one right there at the end zone, that was
Yeah,
terrible.
he threw it to the defensive end for the Colts.
Yep.
Against the Raiders, threw it to a defensive end. Against the Commanders, threw an interception. So that's 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. And I think that's also part of it, is he's afraid of throwing into a compressed space because he keeps getting picked off by linemen. Which is also, people have noticed he's not throwing over the center of the field as much. Because there's linemen there. He doesn't want to have the ball batted down and get intercepted again. All right, last one. So that was, I think, the first but we've actually agreed is a big one. Last one. The Chiefs are leading on offense and defense in a lot of stats, but their special teams is costing them games, and they are basically the 2010 Chargers all over again. If you don't know the 2010 Chargers were first in the league on offense, first in the league in defense, but last when it came to special teams. And because of that, they went 9-7 and missed the playoffs. Here's how special teams is hurting the Chiefs this year. Is one, Butker being good apparently is a problem. We agreed on that. But 2, punt returns. It seems like they're breaking off these easy 20. It seems like they're always starting from the 35 and we're always starting from the 20. Am I wrong? That always seems
you're
like
not
that.
wrong. And
yeah, go ahead.
This is where I blame Butker a little bit. How many times have they got to start on the kickoffs on the 35 or the 40 because Butker couldn't hit the landing zone?
Because he missed the landing zone, or I
Kicked out of
actually,
bounds.
to defend him a little bit, other than one that he intentionally kicked, because it was at the end of the game, other than the one he intentionally kicked into the end zone for a touchback yesterday, I felt he was doing a great job. Because where he went on the kickoffs, where he was nailing it, he was like the ball was basically landing on the goal line every time. And if you go back and watch the kickoffs, basically every time the Colts caught the ball, it was right on the goal line. So I to defend him a little bit, I think he's doing great on kickoffs. We're failing on kickoffs is then on protection, because it doesn't matter. It's kicked to the goal line. They still get it back to the 35 seemingly every time. On top of that, punt returning. I love Nico Remigio. He's a great story, but when was the last time you saw him break off a good punt return? It's been a long time. On top of that, anytime he does, it gets called back for a fucking penalty. Every time.
Yeah.
Every time. Like, I guarantee you, if you remove penalties on special teams against the Chiefs, they would probably have half or a third as many penalties as they have now. It seems like every time there's a penalty on special teams, whether there was a penalty on us for blocking the back when we were the kicking team against the Broncos.
Yeah, and remember that penalty Travis Kelce got? I think it was offensive pass interference.
Yeah.
Because he ran through the dude that was covering him.
Yeah, that was annoying, but that's so anyway, I'm gonna, as far as the butt is concerned here. How big of a butt is that?
It's not a big but. I think our special teams is hurting us.
Then it is a big butt. You agree
Oh,
with
it
me
is a
then?
big but.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, big but. I'll get the hang of this
You know what? I
eventually,
kind
but
of
yeah.
like the fact that this is so inscrutable and confusing. I kind of enjoy it. That's funny to me.
Um,
Yeah, it's a big butt. I think it's a big butt too. I don't think we're the 2010 Chargers because if you actually look at the statistics, our punt or our kick return averages aren't that bad. They're middle of the pack. It's just that they used to be a lot better. They're way worse than they should be, considering that Dave Tobe actually gets guys that are just special teams players. No other team does that. No other team just lets you have a Jack Cochran. You know what I mean? Like where it's like, oh no, he just plays special teams. That's just what he does. I love Dave Tobe a lot, but if they do miss the playoffs and there is house cleaning to be done, I think he's the first one that needs to go.
I've also heard rumor that the Titans are looking at Matt Nagy as a potential head coach candidate, and I wouldn't be upset about
No,
that one bit.
no, no. You know what? It's funny. I don't dislike Matt Nagy at all, and I don't blame him like a lot of other Chiefs fans do for how they've been because he's not the one calling plays. Andy calls the play, tells Nagy to tell Mahomes, and then that's Andy like basically picks the area of the kind of play he wants. And then Nagy kind of tells Mahomes that that's the relay system. So
I
it's
know,
Andy. I'm sorry.
I know
Go ahead.
Reed calls it,
Mhm.
but I just feel like Matt Nagy doesn't have that accountability factor that EB had.
There's a lot of that, and I think that's a good point. That EB was a lot tougher on guys, which explains why he didn't catch on as an OC for anybody else or as a head coach. Because
He's
you
doing a
know,
damn good job in Chicago right now.
is he? Wait, what's he in Chicago?
I think he's the Bears' offensive coordinator
No,
right
he's
now.
not. Declan Doyle is.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn it! Who did I see where he was at?
I don't
Then?
think he's anywhere.
Uh,
Um. uh, uh, uh. Wait, he is on.
oh, he's
He
the
is.
running backs
He's the
coach with
running
the
back
Chicago
coach.
Bears.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Okay.
knew he was with the Bears.
That's fine. It's good that he has a job. I think there's some of that. I think that you need somebody. If you've got Andy calling the plays, you need somebody to be the hard ass. It's a good tandem to have. Here's what I think they need. I think they need somebody who just has fresh ideas coming in, and is giving Andy better concepts and schemes and what more of an idea of what they can do. They need like a Sean McVay to come in, do 2 years with the Chiefs, or I hate referencing him, but Josh McDaniels, who is a terrible head coach. We all know that, but is obviously a great OC. Made Tom Brady look good, so that's how good he is. So yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think if Matt Nagy leaves, I'm not upset about it, and I like him. I like Matt Nagy. I think he's a good guy. I don't know that he's exactly what the Chiefs need though. And especially if Kelsey retires, then you're losing a lot of leadership in the locker room. You're going to need somebody to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
All right, Cody. Time for mascot mayhem.
Yes.
All right. So who are we focusing on this week?
This week
Cody.
we are going to do what the Bills couldn't do, and we're going to take the bull by the horns as we highlight Toro with the Houston Texans.
Here we go.
All right. And this right here is why whenever Toro hands you a drink, you always finger it first
to see if the drink is on top.
Yeah.
So what is this? He's got a bunch of coffee underneath that, and then
yeah. So he put the lid on the cup and flipped it upside down and put the whipped cream on top of the cup.
Okay. And he hands it to the Titans guy. Guy says thank you. And he spills it all over. I'm hoping that's not hot, right?
No, I don't know. But now, okay, so it's like, oh, Cody, two drink things in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna get a Seahawks fan with this one. But if you watch closely, he actually has the cup right side up. So, all right, we're gonna fill it to the top, hit it with the whipped cream, and sprinkles. No, man. I've seen your shit before. Ah, he's gonna spill
Wait,
all over
hold on
himself
a
in here.
second. What was that guy doing? Why
I
was
don't
he?
know.
Why was he
Well,
holding
because
the
he's
cup?
seen the pranks where Toro hands people the upside down cups.
Oh,
So
so
he
he
was
was trying to
trying to
flip it around.
Yeah,
Okay,
but it was actually right side up. So he got the reverse Uno card on this
it
one.
looked like he just didn't know how gravity worked or something. It was, duh, I've seen you do this before. Oh gosh. Okay, all right, that's good. And then the third one is a Bills fan.
Yeah, and this one has nothing to do with the first two, but this is just funny. So I don't know, like if this Bills fan is like trying to measure up or something like that, but Toro's gonna get out the measuring tape for whatever reason. So here we go. Oh yeah,
On the
yeah. Oh,
arm.
cool. You got a hell of a
Then
reach
you
here. Oh,
reach,
you're
okay.
tall.
Then
And sack
boom, right
tap.
in the balls. All right. I love that. On the Bills one, you know how amazing of aim you have to be able to hit a Bills fan in the wiener? Like that's just impressive. I'm saying because it's cold. I'm saying because it's cold in Buffalo. John Grayson, if you happen to watch this or listen to it, I'm saying because it's cold in Buffalo. That's why. I'm leaving that into the podcast. If you want to see the video of everything we were just talking about, I'm going to post the full show on YouTube. You can see it there. Just go to search for Jonathan Weir, and then I don't know, it's in there somewhere. You can find it. And also, I'll post just the Mascot Mayhem on our Facebook page, on the Weir Show Facebook page. All right. So, Cody, parting thoughts. How worried are you about the Cowboys? Thursday, short week. Got a lot of guys injured. The Chiefs did not practice today, but they did one of those mock-up injury reports. Mahomes, they said, would have been full go, but he did show up with the groin again, which is worrying me. Brittany, why don't you leave the man alone? Rashee Rice would have been limited. Noah Gray is not going to be playing, and it looks like Trey Smith is also going to be out. But
Yeah,
Pacheco, they said, would have been full participant. So Pacheco will be back on Thursday.
I'm not worried about it. I mean, look, the Eagles went up 21-0 in a heartbeat. And again, we talk about this all the time. Those divisional games are always weird. But statistically speaking, the three best offenses in the NFL are the Colts, the Cowboys, and whoever's playing the Cowboys.
And lest we forget, the opening game that the Cowboys had against the Eagles this year, was that the game they tied? Or no, that was the Packers they tied against. But they almost beat the Eagles earlier this season, but CeeDee Lamb dropped the ball. They would have actually won the game, but CeeDee Lamb dropped a pass from Dak. So I agree with you. I'm not impressed with anybody who beats the Eagles, by the way. I'm not impressed with anybody who plays them close. I don't think they're a good team. And they're good enough to win games, but Nick Sirianni's a terrible coach. They, granted, blew us out in the Super Bowl last year. Congratulations to them on that. They beat an exhausted Chiefs team that was on the precipice of doing something nobody had ever done before. Fine. I agree with you. And the numbers, like I said earlier, about their defense looking so much better since the trade deadline, they've played the Raiders and the Eagles. A lot of defenses look good after playing the Raiders and the Eagles.
And again, the Eagles, they spotted the Eagles 21 points in the first half.
Yeah, right. And then the Eagles couldn't score again the rest of the game, but that wasn't because I think the Cowboys defense was so amazing. It was because the Eagles defense offense is not good. Yeah. So, all right. By the way, I want to throw this out just because I was thinking about it. Somebody was going off about how Mahomes is washed up, and their reasoning for that is because he is last in the league since 2022 at 20 plus yard touchdowns. So throwing the ball 20 plus yards for a touchdown. Mahomes is 32nd or something like that in the league. And it was going viral all over Twitter, and people were like, see, his arm's broken, something wrong with him, he doesn't have it anymore, blah, 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 blah. Now, first of all, you're including in 2022 a season he won the fucking MVP, but okay. Second of all, this is just kind of a clue for people listening. If you ever see a stat that kind of goes against what you feel is true, You can check your premises on it. So if that stat's important, who do you think would be leading the league in those 20-plus touchdowns, right? In 20-plus yard touchdowns. Who's leading the league in 20-plus yard touchdowns since 2022? Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson? No. Geno Smith and Derek Carr. Third is Jalen Hurts. So I don't think it matters that much. That's all I'm going to say. All right, go Chiefs. Bye.
Recording stopped.